Dawn Satagaj, your host, and tonight I am so excited to welcome Annie Dillon from Keller Williams Realty with me, and we are going to talk about the market.
Thank
Hello.
you so much for having me. I was thrilled when Dawn invited me to sit with her and talk real estate because that's what we did for so many years.
Yeah, for so many years we worked together, 15,
Yes.
16 years,
Yes.
and pretty much this is what we did. We sat in our offices, and we talked real estate, we strategized, and so this is a lot of fun for both of us. So let's just dive right in. So Annie,
Yes.
the market.
The market, I know it. Well, the local market, I know we're going to talk about the local market. People say it's crazy, and it's not really crazy. I think what it is the lack of supply and demand. The demand just seems very, very high, and the supply is extremely low, and that's the crazy thing about it.
There's no houses. Where'd the
There's no
houses go?
I know it. Rocky Hill, Dawn's true expert in Rocky Hill, and I have to giggle because there were 9 houses on the market, and now there's only 7 because she just sold 2 of them.
So 7 houses in the entire town of Rocky Hill for sale as of today. How many in Wethersfield?
Wethersfield, there's 14, but that does include 1 condo. So 13 homes are on the market. 13 homes are on the market.
So 13 homes and 7 homes. So we've got 20 homes between 2 towns when a normal market used to have
Oh my God, remember 80?
80 houses in Wethersfield,
Yes.
40, 45. It's so different. And yet the buyers are still there. So what are we doing?
I think the buyers are learning. The buyers are working with their lenders, and they're learning they have to be competitive. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think sellers are staying put because they realize how much equity they have in their home, and their interest rates are probably 3%.
That could be, because it is, we're trying to figure out why people aren't selling.
Yeah.
Why are they staying put? But the equity is a good point. They have a huge
Equity, I'm
right
guessing.
now.
And the interest rates, right? They're probably, if they have a mortgage, they're probably sitting on a 3% interest rate.
Right.
So for them to give that up, it's got to be for a really good reason. So I think that's one of the reasons why inventory is so low.
It's a good reason. So I wanted to ask you, so buyers right now, buyers are losing houses left and right. They're extremely frustrated in the market. At open houses, we were talking earlier, an open house weekend will bring over 100 potential buyers through a home.
That's not an exaggeration. Dawn is right on. 100 people are going through.
So what do you do to help your buyers stand out from the other offers? Because let's face it, 100 people coming through, percentage-wise, you're going to have multiple offers on each and every house. So what can you do, or what can the buyer do to help stand out?
What I am learning right now, and I'm trying to teach my buyers and my team's buyers, you have to be competitive. You have to, you just have to be competitive. So the fundamentals in my head, the fundamentals of an offer that has the chance of getting accepted. Number 1, offer enough. You have to offer as much as you possibly can. You have to be competitive. You have to go way above the asking price.
And I think that's the question right now. What is enough?
And
Does
you don't
anyone know?
I know, and you don't know. The other things that are very important is the deposit. It has to be attractive. Like back in the day, we were doing, $5,000 or $10,000. Now I'm asking for $25,000 to $50,000 for a deposit.
Wow.
And I'm explaining to them, it's sitting in the escrow account. It's going towards the purchase price. Put skin in the games. And you know what? Other people are doing that. So it's not just, my buyers.
You are right, though. You do see a lot more heavy deposits coming in. It used to be, it seems like it was ages ago, and really it was just a couple of years ago. First deposits, we'd see $500 and maybe a second deposit of $2,500, $4,500. Now you have to have that heavy first deposit. And I do like the fact that it's only one deposit now.
It makes it so much easier. But
Yeah.
yes, so we have to do make the deposit very attractive. And then I know this, you have to wrap around it. It's not easy, but think about waiving the inspections. We would never do that in the past.
Never would have done it.
But now, even with a condo, I would say to my buyers, what is a deal breaker? Because most likely, everything on the outside, the condo association hopefully would address. So on the inside, what is your big ticket items? The boiler and the central air.
Right.
Is that a deal breaker? And that's what you have to consider. So what I want to say is waive the home inspection. And you know what? The day that you move in, have your own home inspection. So you have that report and you can budget what you have to do.
And how about those, so I do see more agents or buyers coming in with either a friend who's a contractor or something like that when they're first in. So they're trying to almost do like a mini inspection during their showing.
I mean, if you can get away with it, it's so crazy now with showings because you're only getting 15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So to get your contractor in there, it's almost impossible. But if you, the buyer, have that knowledge, get in there. Look at the expensive ticket items. Look at the boiler. Look at the appliances. Do what you can.
So that's what you're telling them to focus on. Focus on what's the big ticket items.
That would be
and
a
you are
deal
right. In a
breaker.
condo, it would be, the HVAC system. And so if it looks old, just plan to budget for it immediately.
Yes,
right?
so have that, if you can
can
live
afford it.
with, if you can
Yeah.
afford it, if you can live with waiving the inspection up front, you just want to make your offer as clean as possible. And now we'll get to the mortgage. I am having my lenders I'm having my buyers work with a lender who gets them pre-mortgage committed. So all they need is the address and the signed purchase and sales contract, home insurance, and then they are ready to go. So yes, so I am saying waiving mortgage commitment and waiving inspections.
Because they're already committed.
Yes, they've already did it. So they've already did all their homework up front, and the lender ran their documents through underwriting.
So they're really they're ready to go. So they're essentially a cash buyer.
They are, and that's what you have to do. We have to tell our buyers, you have to compete. You have to think in your head that you're competing with a cash buyer, because there's still a lot of cash out there.
And then what about closing dates?
Easy. Call up the listing agent and say, what closing date does your seller want? And that's what I would tell my buyers. I don't care what you have to do, but work with the seller and see what they want to do. So really, you just want no contingencies. You want to make it very easy for the seller to say, hey, they're going to be easy. They've already committed.
I have no risk, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so now I have
You were bringing up another one that I haven't tried that might be worth it, is a non-refundable deposit. I haven't tried that. What do you think about that?
So what's the risk? If they have no contingencies anyway, so the deposit is essentially non-refundable unless you put in, so for the pre-commitment though, what about the appraisal?
Okay,
Do you
it
still have
depends
it
how much.
subject?
No. If a lot of times the buyer does not need the appraisal, but because they're putting more than 20% down. But if they do need the appraisal, I'm putting in that buyer will cover the gap between appraised value and purchase price. And I explained to my buyer, do you have this money where you can cover the gap if there is one? But really, the last, 6 months,
No gaps?
No gaps. Everything's been appraising.
That's really good. Yeah, I think appraisers they're kind of playing catch up to the game. And I do think that's a very difficult job to have right now because the market here it seems to still be climbing. And they have no comparables. So they're kind of lost trying to figure out, well, what can we do? And they don't have the comparables only because there hasn't been the inventory to give us the comparables.
Yes, and that's why it's really important for the listing agent to meet the appraiser at the house.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Don't just, send them, let them in, combo lock. Go in there, do your job, bring in comps, point out the features of the home. It's very important.
and let the appraiser know that you had 15 offers or whatever you had.
Yes, yes.
So I am going to throw a tough one at you because we kind of talked about this earlier. Because I think part of our inventory would loosen up if people knew where they were moving to. Because if they sell their house, and in today's market, people's homes are going to sell very quickly, and they're going to get great money, so they're going to want to take that offer. But at the same time, they do not want to be homeless. So once upon a time, we used to do Hubbard clauses, meaning somebody would go out, find a home they liked, say, Mr. Seller, I'll buy your house, or Mrs. Seller, I'll buy your house, if you give me the opportunity to sell my house first, give me 30 days, I'll get mine sold, and then I'll buy yours. In today's market, how does that fly?
Doesn't fly at all. It really doesn't fly. You have to be prepared. You know what? You really pack up because you decided you're going to move. Pack up, go live with a family member, get a rental, do what you have to do. Because remember, if you fall in love with a house, there's literally 10 other people that are writing up offers. And the seller's just going to say, I can't wait for them because who knows what's going to happen. None of us have a crystal ball. So that buyer who has to sell first, you are definitely behind.
You don't have a chance.
You don't have a chance. You really don't. I hate to say it, but really pack up and find a place to live.
How about, do you see a lot of sellers who put their houses on but say, subject to me finding suitable housing?
Another obstacle, such an obstacle. I had a buyer who got caught up in that, and it's terrible because the seller is, yes, I know they're aggressively looking, but it's such a domino effect.
There's nothing on the market.
There's nothing on the market, and then the buyer has their house on the market, and they don't know what kind of a closing date they're looking for. So again, I know it's not easy, but get yourself in a rental. Get yourself in a temporary rental.
You had a great saying earlier.
Oh,
Put
step
your
on the
foot on-
gas.
step on-
Put your foot on the gas. That's what I'm saying, people.
Put your foot on the gas, not on the brake. If you're going to be a buyer in today's market, you have to be ready to go.
You have to be ready to go. And just like the buyers who, if the seller gives a counteroffer, wrap it up immediately. Don't say, can I sleep on it? No, you can't sleep on it. You cannot step on the brake because you know what? There's 3 other buyers that are going to jump in.
That are ready, yeah.
That are ready. So do your homework, get prepared, get mortgage commitment so you are ready to go. That's what I really want to say. That's what I learned the hard way. But do all your paperwork up front.
Yeah, so do you prepare your buyers now?
Oh,
for this market?
absolutely. Yeah,
Are they
have to.
planning to lose houses ahead of time?
Yes, it's heartbreaking. And
It is.
even, I called Dawn the other day because I couldn't believe there was a property in Rocky Hill, and it was listed, okay, I'm going to say it was listed comparable. There was a couple of comps. It was a little bit higher than the past sales.
Oh, no, we discussed that house. We both thought it was priced
Stretched.
Yeah,
We thought it was a
stretched.
bit of a stretch.
Quite a stretch.
Quite a stretch, but my buyers really wanted it. It was kind of a high-end property. They went 40,000 over, waived contingency, waived everything. I felt really good about it, didn't get it. Another buyer came and we didn't get it. And I think
It is heartbreaking when that
It's
happens,
heartbreaking,
because your
yes.
buyer's going all in, they're following everything you're telling them to do, and yet they still lose. So it's just one of those things.
It is. So instead of showing 3 or 4 houses, maybe writing up two or 3 offers, it's more like we're showing 10 to 15 houses,
Right.
writing up 5 offers. You just have to
true.
be patient.
So I find it interesting now, though, the escalation clauses. They're all over the place. So out of 10 offers, probably 8 will have an escalation clause.
Wow.
So then we're trying to figure out, if you escalate to X, then this one goes a little higher. So we've got this one, and that one goes a little higher. So it's,
I'll be honest, I have not had a seller that accepted an offer with an escalation clause.
really.
Yeah.
See, I
And you
love
do.
them. And I'll tell you why. I like them because I think in this market, I think buyers feel as though they've been treated very unfairly. They have to, pretty much give up everything all at once to get they're getting the beautiful home of their dreams, but I feel like an escalation is it gives them, I don't know, a
An
chance.
edge, a chance.
Well, just so that they don't have to feel like they have to go, sorry, Mike, 50,000 over, when really, they really only had to go maybe 15,000 over. I just feel like it gives them, I don't know, a sense of, we did
A
the right
chance.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's a tough call. One of my team agents my team agent, Mary Dobrook, who is just awesome, she had a condo on the market in Newington. So she did a coming soon, and we can talk about that too.
Yep.
She did a coming soon listing. So she gave the buyers 5 days in advance to set up their showings. She had 2 days of back-to-back showings, Friday and Saturday.
Where it was booked up, probably every time
Booked
slot.
up. Yeah, I know, because I would get the phone call and say, it's all booked up, is there a mistake? No,
Yeah.
it's just booked up. Every half hour there was a showing. So anyway, highest and best was called, and so Mary had 35 confirmed showings, 9 offers.
Wow.
So if you do the math, that's 1 in every 4 buyer wrote up an offer.
Yep.
So, and it's a ton of work for listing agents to take in all the offers, review them, put them together, and present them to the seller. A lot of work. So anyway, there were a couple of escalation clauses, but the seller, when Mary was discussing it, they didn't go with the escalation clause. And it was way up there. But they wanted to see the purchase price in the contract.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
everybody's thoughts
Yeah,
are
everybody
bit
is a little bit
different.
different on that.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's just trying to, I don't know, in a certain way, almost level the playing field so that, but you know what? I get where sellers are coming from too. If you're going to pay it, then just offer it and
Up
pay
front,
it.
yes.
Right.
And you know what? Remember that you may only get, I say to my buyers, you may only get this one chance. Don't think that every seller is going to come back and give you a chance for highest and best.
Most don't, though.
Yeah, most don't.
Yeah, I don't see that anymore.
Me
You see
either.
highest and best. But the funny thing is now buyers expect it. When you're doing an open house, so many people come in and they say, okay, when are offers due by? When's the highest and best due? So it's an expectation at this point that they're going to have to, step up quickly.
Yeah, and sellers really can do whatever they want. They do, right? They do not have to call for highest and best. They do not have to, they can, right?
No, they can, it's the seller's house. So even though the agent and the seller can discuss and put a date out there, give me your highest and best by Tuesday, 6 o'clock. If a seller gets an offer on Sunday that they say, I really want this one and I don't want to deal with this anymore, they can take it.
They can take it. I know. So really tell, as a buyer, put your best foot forward up front. When you submit that offer, have either your proof of funds or have your lender letter. And you know what? It's not a bad idea to have your lender call the listing agent, right?
Getting a lot of calls from lenders lately.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if you have any
They're working
questions.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back now. We'll go
Okay.
to the other side a little bit. Talk about sellers and coming soon, because that's kind of something that's taking off lately too. I mean,
Yes.
that's been around, but it's definitely somebody that, it's being more utilized now than ever.
Yes. I'm going to be honest and say my team agents do it more than I do.
Yep.
They like doing the coming soon. It makes them feel organized. They like to have all the showings scheduled and ready to go. Me, I like to have everything ready and then boom, go. I want to
Just
go.
go.
I just want to go. I don't want to sit for a couple of days.
So just so to explain what a coming soon is, so the agent lists the property, it goes out on the websites. Most of the time the pictures are there, they might not all be there, but no one can actually go into the house yet to see it. You can schedule your showings for when the start date is.
When the active date is.
Yeah, so a lot of times what the agents will see is the time slots will fill up days in advance, actually, and that way the buyer's scheduled, they have their time slot to get in there.
But more importantly, this should give the buyers the time to work with their lenders and get ready to go. Here, you got an extra day or two to get all your documents together. I would take advantage of it.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
Right?
Yep. So then what do you do when you're looking? So right now, and it was not an exaggeration when you said the 15-minute time slots to half an hour. Because of the market is so quick too, we're seeing more and more doubling up of showings. So sometimes you go in and it's a personal showing, but there are,
It's like an open house.
yeah, there's 3, 4 other agents there with their buyers. So what are you looking for during that time?
I am, let's see, I let the buyers walk through and they kind of looking more at the cosmetic stuff and the floor plan, and they're trying to imagine themselves and their family in this floor plan. I am going down in the basement and I want to see what the furnace looks like. I want to see if there's water in the basement. I want to kind of look at the big ticket items. I'll try, and it's so busy, but if I can, I'll pull the town card before I show the property so I can see, kind of helps me see how old the roof is, how old everything is.
See if permits were pulled?
See if permits were pulled, which is
Yep.
another issue. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to look at the bigger ticket items, because if they fall in love with the house, then we have to work around what do we think they should offer. And I always give a range, because I'm always like, I'm going to give you a range, and then ultimately it's your decision. But what I do say to my buyers, my kids laugh because I say it all the time, what if I call you up and tell you that you did not get the house and you missed it for $5,000 or $10,000? How are you going to feel?
Right. Yeah. So that was always the advice, though, because multiple offers did occur before this. They just didn't occur as commonplace as they do now. And the advice was always to tell the buyer, just go in with your highest, so that if you lose it by $1,000, you're okay with it because you gave your all in there and you wouldn't have paid a dime more.
And I want your all. I will help you be as competitive. We will walk you through every step of the way. We have wonderful lenders for the buyers. We have wonderful lenders. We can counsel you. We can help you with the move. We can get you contractors. I mean, we can really get you ready.
But the lenders also help the sellers, because the last thing a seller wants to do, so this is the hard part, right, as a listing agent. You have all these wonderful offers sitting in front of you, and you've gone through each and every one of them with your sellers. It's so hard. You want to make sure that you choose the one that the buyer is not going to back out on. They're not going to feel like, oh, we only looked at that house for 15 minutes. Do I really want to commit to this forever? So that's the hard part. Like, you're trying to, mitigate any chances of
Doubts.
this going south.
How do you feel about the love letters?
So I know that some states don't allow love letters, but I still think they help. I do. And I think if they're from the heart, it really will show through. And let's face it, I mean, when sellers are selling, it was where they have memories, they have everything else. But bottom line is, this is their largest, most people, it's their largest financial investment. And they're trying to make as much money as they can from it. So the love letters are sweet. Sometimes they may work, but
I know.
I'm not sure they would.
Now, I have some sellers that are like, Annie, I don't want to read these love letters, and I don't want escalation clauses.
So that's fair.
We just
It's their
want
house.
black and white, give us the best offer from the most qualified buyer.
Yep. Okay, so let me go here. So now we're on the selling part.
Okay.
So have you changed your marketing? And I know the answer to this already,
Yes.
but I'm asking it.
Yes.
No, as a listing agent, like, you don't skimp anymore, because let's face it, these houses are going to sell, but you still go out and you do everything that needs to be done, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if the house needs to be staged, I don't want to speak for other agents, but I will work with our wonderful stager, Tamitha.
Tamitha was here last week.
Oh, who's just incredible. And she is worth every dime, her
agree.
time, her efforts, her quality of her furniture and everything. So I
Yep.
definitely think staging is a must. And,
The photography.
the photography, but even before that, if a couple of rooms need to be painted, I'll bring in my painter. Just do a couple of rooms just to make it show well, and then, because I want Tamitha's stuff to show well in a nice, clean environment. The floors have to be nice and clean, so we'll make sure the floors are clean, and professionally cleaned. So we would do all that before the professional photographer, which is also a must.
Absolutely. it's still an important part of selling a house, I think,
I agree.
because your first introduction to a buyer is online, because everybody's online as soon as
To
a
a
listing.
seller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as, no, a buyer sees the
Oh,
seller's
the buyer
house.
sees the seller's house,
Yeah,
yes,
they always
yes,
see it online first.
yes.
And everyone has everyone who's in the market has their phones hooked up, everything's hooked up, so as soon as a listing hits, they're getting that notification. So it's important that it goes out looking great. Even in today's market, I think it brings more people in still.
Oh, I
And
totally
ultimately,
agree.
it is a numbers game. The
And
more
it's our
people through.
job, isn't it? And I
Yeah.
mean, there are so many wonderful, wonderful qualified agents out there. And as a seller and as a buyer, you just got to pick somebody that you want to work with, that your personalities click.
Right, and you
So
want to make
there's-
sure you trust them. and
Yes.
that- Yeah, and that they are working in your best interest.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're marketing your home as best as they can.
Right. So you had a couple of stats too, which I found
Oh.
pretty interesting, so I wanted to go
Yes.
over those. So Hartford County Real Estate
Hartford County.
was named top 3 in the nation
That's
for the hottest real estate markets. Who would have ever thought we would be saying that? Across the country, I guess out in the West, I think things are starting to slow. They definitely have more inventory. The interest rates did, I guess, impact them.
Okay.
We didn't really see the impact of the increased rates.
No, we're still in the high sixes. I
Yeah,
think.
but when it went from 3 to
Oh.
4 to 5, I don't think our buyers slowed. It didn't seem to slow at all here. People still are buying because 6% in the big picture, it's a great rate.
It's a great rate.
Yeah.
And you can always refinance
Refinance.
down the road. So a couple of stats that I have for Hartford County single-family houses. So closed sales of existing homes are down 32% compared to last April. So this is April to April last year. Existing home sales are down 32%. New listings are down 38%.
So then that first step makes sense because if there's nothing to buy, there's nothing to close.
And again, going along those lines, pending sales are down 25%. So, so that's a bummer from last year to this year. But the interesting stat is the average price of a home in the Hartford County went up 6.6%. So, and again, that's because of supply and demand.
Right.
So, and you know, I don't know if we already said this, but when people say the market is crazy, again, I truly believe they're talking about inventory, lack of
The lack of inventory.
That's what makes the market
Well,
crazy.
it's definitely different. So it's kind of funny when you think about it. Everybody would always say, you know, oh, why'd you become a realtor? Oh, because it's never the same day twice, right?
Yeah.
And it's really not. And this market really is a market unseen before, for us anyway. I mean, maybe in Vegas they had this before, but not here.
But isn't this what we went through last year with these incredible, remember all the out-of-state buyers coming in and paying all those crazy?
Seeing more.
Right?
Again,
It's
yeah.
like it's coming back.
Yeah,
New Jersey buyers coming back, New York buyers,
York.
and for them, a house for 600 or 700 high end for us, for them, it's like a deal.
yeah, it's a steal.
So, yeah, that's,
So everybody, come to Hartford County.
yes. And just a couple other notes I have. I was just reading that most experts do not expect a housing market crash this year because many homeowners have built up so much equity. The real issue is affordability with the high interest rates and inflated home values and appraisals and all that. So I think that's where it's going to be challenging this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of houses come on the market all of a sudden, just because, again, people don't know where they're going to
We're
go.
going to go, I know.
Yeah, so real estate still is a great investment, right?
Yes, great investment. Hey, beats 2% in your savings account, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So believe it or not, I think our time is up.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I want to thank Annie Dillon,
Oh.
team leader for the Annie Dillon team at Keller Williams. So Annie, if somebody has questions for you, how would they reach you?
They can call me at 860-729-2998. Call me, text me, email me. I'd be happy to help.
So this was a lot of fun. Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, and join us again next week for Real Estate Reality.